famous success over Argentina. Our officials are Italian, all in flamingo pink, a nod from FIFA to our venue today, which is associated with that colour pink in Miami. Saudi Arabia, a team who produced that amazing success over Argentina 4 years ago, and 6 of that team start this game, and that includes the goalkeeper.
Four years ago, still driving the belief that they have.
We have been on storm watch all day. Storm very much a feature of summertime in Miami. It is 6 p.m. local time. Storms were forecast for the early evening, but thankfully we are good to go. It's a very warm and very humid night in Florida. No goals yet in Group H, but a famous point won by Cape Verde on their World Cup debut against Spain. So the winner here has the chance to end the day top of the group as the curtain goes up for Saudi Arabia and for Uruguay. Uruguay hoping to become the first South American team to win a match at this World Cup. Darwin great atmosphere here. A big number of Uruguayan fans are in town. Miami known as the gateway to Latin America. Uruguay play 2 games here. Uruguay's preparations were somewhat disrupted. They were travelling up from their base in Cancun yesterday, but a couple of flights were cancelled and then delayed. It's been a bit of chaos for Uruguay over the past few years. We'll see now that this team can become a cohesive unit and try and go far at this World Cup.
The new Saudi Arabia coach Donis has said that he wants courage from his team, not just survive in this group. He won't sit deep or play for a draw, so hopefully this will be an exciting game the way that we know that Bielsa's teams play.
Their 5th World Cup in a row. They always punch above their weight given their population size. One of only 6 countries to have won the World Cup more than once. This man here, Fernando Muslera, turns 40 tomorrow. It's his 4th World Cup. That back line has been decimated, so it's a makeshift centre-back pairing of Sebastian Cáceres and Matias Oliveira.
Bielsa's had them in camp and running them, making sure that they fit for this. And he had a few casualties along the way, a couple of muscle injuries. Survival of the fittest in his squad, that's for sure.
Yeah, it does sound fun, training base in Cancun, but I doubt the players have had a chance to sample the delights of that part of Mexico. Georgios Donis, it's his first competitive game in charge. Big throw of the dice by Saudi Arabia just 8 weeks ago to
bring him in. He picked his squad without overseeing a single game.
I think his knowledge of the Saudi Pro League and the players was important in terms of choosing him. Renard sacked in April, not ideal preparation, and they say that about both teams, but at least Uruguay have got Bielsa and the continuity and the identity that never really changes.
His famous box for now, Marcelo Bielsa. He might be the most unloved coach at this World Cup. He's not won over the Uruguayan players, fans or former stars. There have been tensions aplenty. He's called himself toxic. Very unorthodox too to have no warm-up friendly games before this World Cup.
He just concentrates on his team, making sure that they're prepared in the way that he wants to play. It's interesting, it's been quite slow build the start of the game. They're trying to tempt Saudi Arabia out, and I'm sure hit quite quickly. It's when they've not got it that they work so hard to regain possession, Uruguay.
This is Oliveira. He's left back for Napoli in Italian football, but he's a left centre-back in this game. You see a man with a Garce playing very deep. It's Bentancur. Injury hit season playing for Tottenham Hotspur.
Bielsa's teams always build with a three at the back. Full-backs high. Midfielder will drop and face a press. Ugarte is doing that role.
Let's see his Fina. Oliveira. Ugarte. Sebastian Cáceres. Guillermo Brother playing as the right back. Bentancur. To Oliveira. Fina. Nice football this. There's the shot, and it's a first save there made by Otherways. Somewhat unorthodox. And then Fina wins the game's first corner.
He's been just hanging about behind Nunez, just trying to drift into that inside channel on the left-hand side. Looked like there was too much in that. Sarah not taking any chances. Otherways, sorry.
Otherways was man of the match when they beat Argentina in the opening game 4 years ago. See, Araujo will take this first set piece for Uruguay. Darwin Nunez amongst those who wait. It was a good ball too. Been able to witness this for Saudi Arabia defending set plays.
It's a terrific ball in. Just asking someone to get their head on the end of it, but survive that, Saudi Arabia.
The ball given away cheaply. There's Valverde. So many hopes pinned upon him for Uruguay. Formed by Cáceres up towards Darwin Nunez. This curious situation at club level, playing in Saudi Arabia this season just gone. He was left out of Al Hilal's squad for the second half of the campaign. They had too many foreign players, so someone had to miss out, and that man was him.
I mean, Bielsa got him scoring, didn't he, a couple of years ago, international level, but he's such an emotional player, Nunez. I really like him. He wears his heart on his sleeve, and I think a goal today at the start of this World Cup will do his confidence the world of good. Great little example there of where Bielsa sets them up. Uruguay to press man-to-man from opposition goal kicks, push players forward and risk having the ball played over that press.
Harvey. Dorsey. Araujo, who is very quick. It's hustle there with Cano. It's very good work there by Cano to get back and win it back for his team.
I don't think Saudi Arabia do have, are organised enough athletic. They'll get about when they lose possession. It's just, can they just pass it well enough to get past this Uruguay press?
They do have some very technically gifted footballers. The question will be whether they'll have the chance to show those skills. Had that wonderful result in the first game 4 years ago, but they've also endured some nightmares in their first game at the World Cup. They lost 5-0 against Russia in the opening game in 2018. They lost against Germany 8-0 in their first match back in 2002 in Japan. There by Mohamed Abu Al-Shamat. Have a target man up front in the shape of Firas Breakin. To aim for from these wide areas. This is Abdul Hamid, the French Cup winner at Lens this season.
You could see there when Saudi Arabia got the ball forward, Uruguay without out of shape. They do give you a chance when they lose the ball high up the pitch, Uruguay.
So ball there by Al-Jawer. Away there by Oliveira. Al-Jawer again. Oh, it's just behind Al-Barakin.
Aldiseri's will coming off that left-hand side, and he'll combine with Al-Barakan.
Bentancur. Villa. Raised by that Bournemouth a few years ago. Playing in Argentina with River Plate. First time in Uruguay's long World Cup history when none of the squad are playing in their domestic league. I think another reason why Bielsa is not particularly popular with the locals in Uruguay.
See Ugarte drops between the two centre-backs. Both full-backs are high for Uruguay. They thrive on crosses from those wide areas, not quite got into that groove yet.
Bentancur touched off by Araujo, down he went, but no foul given. We often expect great things of South American teams at the World Cup. Friendly champions are Argentina. Saw Brazil in their opening game held to a draw by Morocco. You make of Uruguay and their potential prospects this summer?
Yeah, I mean, this game is important simply because there was a draw in the other group game. Can Uruguay set off on the right foot, 3 points? But Saudi Arabia will be a difficult opponent in terms of staying compact and, you know, physically trying to match them as well. I think the heat has played a part in the opening bit of this game as well. The opening 10 minutes, not quite as gung-ho as you would suspect the Uruguay game would be.
It is said that arriving in Miami at this time of year is like opening an oven door. It is that humid, that stifling.
I think being measured is probably the best prospect in these conditions.
It's Kano. Shamat. Verona. Put in there by Alson Bakti. It's been a Uruguayan team in transition over the past few years with the retirements of some of their former stars, the likes of Suarez and Cavani.
It's more the Valverde era now. Him being probably one of the best centre midfielders in football at the moment.
There's been a question of where best to play him in this Uruguayan team. Missing one of their best creative players, number 10, Georgian Arakaita, who's out due to a calf issue. Uruguay.
Well, the ball from Uruguay, which we expect a little bit quicker, it's actually been quite steady, quite pedestrian really. Saudi Arabia not going all out to press, and again that'll probably be a product of the conditions. Uruguay giving the ball away a couple of times, but loose in their touches and possession.
Very low tempo start from Saudi Arabia. The 9 Asian teams who qualify for this World Cup and unbeaten so far, the Asian sides. We're grateful for the enhanced number of teams at this World Cup, because in the previous format, Saudi Arabia wouldn't have qualified. It was a pretty poor campaign. Went through 2 head coaches, a campaign which began under Roberto Mancini, and he was dismissed. Renard came back for a second stint in charge. Georgios Donis, who's had just a few months in the job, trying to oversee the team here and trying to get them off to a promising start. Nice turn there in their midfield area by Abdul Al-Hybari.
Yeah, it's safe to say that they're still finding the identity under Donis. A little bit short on cohesion, but there's some experienced players in this side. Some leaders that you think would drag them through these initial group games.
There is. Harvey. Down the waist. Connor. Uruguay. Connor.
That's a connection of passes from both teams without really much penetration. Final third, both sides.
Maybe a case of the tempo going up as the evening goes on and the temperature starts to drop.
Actually seems quite an early start, I have to say. Misplaced passes, touches.
The Uruguayan fans trying to lift their team. They had 2 great wins in the qualifying campaign, the long and arduous South American qualifying campaign. Home against Brazil and away against Argentina in Buenos Aires. That takes some doing. But some remarkable lows too, and I think the lowest moment was a friendly match last November when they went down 5-1 against the USA. Biggest defeat for over a decade. It led to some big rifts in the camp. A 2-hour press conference from Bielsa where he heaped scorn upon himself but stayed on. That was the point when they thought he may well resign.
Oh yeah. It's similar at Leeds. I think his sort of football does have a shelf life because it's all fast-paced and it's very demanding of the players. And when they respond, it's wonderful. When they end up not, then it can be a little bit disastrous.
Sagate. And game time limited when Michael Carrick came in to take charge of Manchester United this season. Maybe surplus requirements at Old Trafford this summer. Bielsa stood by him.
Uruguay have got a lot beyond the ball. They've got a lot in that 4 or 5 in that forward line. Not much depth in that, but it just makes them a little bit predictable when the ball goes forward.
Vina. Cano. Gets it back. Gets the pass out to Bragan. Muslera today becomes the oldest player for Uruguay in their World Cup history. The 35th cap. Now Dorsey. From that left side on his right foot, that's where he can be such a danger.
Yeah, I mean, they lean a lot. Dorsey, say, coming in off that left-hand side, and you know, he's carried them in terms of his creativity, whether he's scoring goals or making them. But I did expect, a little bit disappointed with the opening part of this game. I did expect a little bit more, particularly from Uruguay.
We expect high-octane, intense football. We've not had that yet.
Yeah, I mean, you always footnote it with the conditions, but still, you know, I still expect a Bielsa team to have a little bit more energy, move the ball a little bit quicker.
Sebastian Cáceres there, who wears that mask. He plays his club football in Mexico. Suffered a broken nose almost 3 years ago now, and he's worn that mask ever since. Verada.
Just don't see enough of Valverde when he's stuck on that right-hand side. You need him involved in things, but not really attempt to play through central areas. Always looking wide, Uruguay.
Vinia sat on the ball for a moment. Staying in play, referee not stopping it yet. And what I'll do now, though, as Sag came over at his back. Here's Sad Abdelhamid, who has been penalised there, so it will be a free kick for Uruguay.
Well, the game needs something, doesn't it? Just to light the fire. Maybe a set piece. So loud as the crowd have cheered.
Araujo with this free kick for Uruguay. It's the Sporting in Portugal. It's an inviting ball. It was met by Bentancur. Turning towards Cáceres. Saudi Arabia just about survived that scare. There's a handball shouted amongst all that. See that the referee, who's Maurizio Mariani, saying he felt that the arm was down by the side.
Not behind him yet. Really. Anywhere else he could have put that.
Italian referee Maurizio Mariani. His last assignment before this one was a notable one for fans of Crystal Palace. He was in charge for their Conference League final success in Leipzig a few weeks ago. Well, having to scamper here, but he won't get there in time. And there's a very soft corner given away.
Well, they've used that left-hand side a lot more, Uruguay, than the right, where Valverde's trying to hold the width. And a couple of times he's made a mistake. Just put his team under pressure now, sitting in the corner.
So Musab Al-Jawer. That swinging ball by him. Glanced away well there under pressure. Good flick out by Oliveira. There's Al-Dorsey, who is the reigning Asian Footballer of the Year. Verdi's challenge. It's back to Muslera.
Uruguay do actually look like a team that have not played a game for a while. Just not quite in sync with each other. Not quite got the tempo that you would expect. Quality of the players that they've got.
Just 2 games they played this calendar year, both were draws back in March. One of those at Wembley against England, that rather robust affair. And we saw that the physical side of their game. Vinyas is offside.
Vinyas went a little bit further, a little bit earlier as well, and ended up with him, who's always going to get the flag. Saudi Arabia will be quite happy in the opening 23 minutes nearly.
So it's time for our first hydration break, and as we said, it's a day where these breaks are required for the players out there and the fans too, to rehydrate. Plenty of storms around in recent days in Miami. The Portuguese squad are based in Florida in Miami, and they were actually locked inside their team bus for a few hours yesterday because of a storm in the area. As I mentioned earlier, there were forecasts in and around Miami today, but thankfully for now, I think we'll get away without them affecting this match.
Yeah, the weather not conducive to high energy, high tempo game, but still lacking that little bit of quality that you probably would expect from these two teams in terms of finding passes and connecting with each other, moving up the pitch. Haven't seen much of that.
Plenty of ice being used there to try and cool some of the players. This is one of America's great multi-sport venues. Hosts the Miami Dolphins NFL team. There's been tennis here. Super Bowl 6 times been staged here. It's an area too with a huge appetite for football. The glitzy local MLS team Inter Miami, co-owned by David Beckham, with Messi and Suarez in their ranks, won their first MLS title last year. The game so far, Lucy, which has been short on goal-mouth action.
Yeah. It's taken a while to find a highlight, didn't it, at the first 20-odd minutes there. Director with a replay.
That one saved by Mohamed Alawais, denying Maxi Araujo. Well, don't forget, you could win £75,000 and a trip for 2 to New York to watch the FIFA World Cup final on the 19th of July. Single entry by text or online costs £2.50, plus your standard rate message for texts. Entries close at 10 AM on Monday the 6th of July. Post closes at 12 PM on Thursday the 9th of July. Entrance must be 21 or over. Go to the website or scan the QR code for full entry details. Uruguay, the smallest nation to win the World Cup, their population only 3.5 million people. Their 2 titles came quite some time ago. 1930 they won the first World Cup on home soil, then 20 years later they beat the hosts Brazil in the final in the Maracanã in Rio. It's believed the crowd for that match was over 200,000 people. Uruguay will host one match at the next World Cup in 4 years' time, the Centenary World Cup. It's mainly going to be in Morocco, Spain and Portugal, but there will be 3 games to start things off in South America. One in Uruguay, one in Paraguay, one in Argentina, so 3 host nations in South America already guaranteed, along with the 3 others as well. The refereeing Supremo, Pierluigi Collina, is here to watch. Keep a close eye on the Italian officials, his compatriots. The only Italian team at this World Cup.
So dig that, Joe, if ever I heard one. Wow. We just need the tempo raising, the quality raising in this. It hasn't been the best start, but it must give Saudi Arabia cause for thinking that they take advantage of the lull that Uruguay certainly started with.
They've had no touch yet in the Uruguay box. Overhit pass there by Federico Viñas.
I mean, Valverde is arguably their best player, Uruguay, and at the moment he's stood on the touchline on that right-hand side and not really been involved. He's holding the width, but they've not really got it to him. He can't affect the game if he hasn't got the ball at his feet.
Aljuer. Cáceres won their header. He was just caught then by Aljuer. Al-Qadsiya from Saudi Arabia, Aljuer, who are managed now by Brendan Rodgers, who was named the Player of the Year in the Saudi Pro League this season. Chance on for Darwin Núñez. There's that debate when players don't play much at club level. Maybe they're not sharp, but also they could be fresh, and I wonder whether Darwin Núñez may fall in that latter category.
I mean, that sort of ball that Relish running onto, he hasn't really had much of that. He hasn't really had that much involvement. He hasn't had the service so far in this game.
Try a pain there from Saud Abdul Hamid. That's in front of his coach, Georgios Donis. No foul was given. He's Oliveira for Uruguay. Cáceres. That's Valverde. And Bentancur. Good take by Barella. Crossing chance for him, but can't get it past that near post area. Sent in by Bentancur. Kept alive here. Oh, great save by Alaves. Well, that was quite some stop. It was elastic goalkeeping as Uruguay tried to force the issue.
Alaves did brilliantly there. Goalkeeper, all of a sudden, the end of the final third, Uruguay, and dangerous ball into the box, keeps it alive again. Araujo back in the right areas, and really that was the best choice in terms of Viñas. Powerful header, and Moyes was equal to it. It's better.
Yep, he's livened up. It's about to call for Wycliffe John to come back and provide some entertainment. Interesting character, Federico Viñas, who had that chance there a few moments ago. Playing in the attack along with Darwin Núñez. Plays for Oviedo in Spain, where he's had 3 red cards this season just gone. Finished bottom of La Liga. Was once a meat packer when he gave up on football as a youngster. Nicknamed the Tank, and he's come back now to play for his country at the World Cup.
Oh, he's powerful and aggressive and gets on the end of stuff. That's the bit where they look dangerous, isn't it, Uruguay? It's a sore one. Valverde. They look dangerous when they get ball into the box, and they've got definitely have numbers in there, well kept alive there, and he chose very early that he was going to dive in header. Unfortunately for him, straight at Alaves.
They have lost some of their scoring power with some of the big names who have moved on. Luis Suarez, who scored the winning goal when these two sides met in the group stage of the 2018 World Cup in Russia.
You just get the feeling that just somebody needs to grab the game by the scruff of the neck, and you'd look to Uruguay to do that. Saudi Arabia, nice structure out of possession. Look, you can see there 4-4-2, that trying to close the spaces that Uruguay's rotations and movement perhaps will expose, but they've done all right, Saudi Arabia.
Nice out jump there by Abdoulaye Amri. The way's going long. Back comes Muslera. That was dangerous. No damage done. Lost in mouths for a moment there for Uruguayans, I'm sure. Cáceres. Zagata. The passing's been a bit off from Uruguay. It's Court. Football here, Araujo.
Just look a bit undercooked, Uruguay. And I'm sure they're going to grow into the competition, but this is an ideal opportunity for them to get 3 points on the board.
Oliveira. Herrera. It's a Valverde. He makes something happen. He often does. He finds Ugarte back towards Valverde again. Dorsary for Aljuer. Run back by Nunez. Court. Oliveira. Vinia into a good area, quite other ways. It may have been caught there, and the referee has given the free kick to penalise Darwin Nunez.
They'll always go for them. Nunez thrives off that sort of ball into the box. Not afraid to challenge. Climbs early. He's not favourite to win it. In the end, foul is given against him. Not before, he just left a little bit on. Otherwise, swings all around.
It's a shop window tournament this for Darwin Nunez, given his lack of game time at club level. Might be on the move this summer. Aljuer. Oliveira. It's Al Shamat. Abdul Hamid. Kano. Abdul Hamid. Nice one there by Matthias Vinia.
I haven't seen too much in the final for Saudi Arabia, but they look comfortable when they haven't got it. The biggest problems that Uruguay will cause them is that ball into the box that just haven't done enough of just yet.
Al-Harbi. On the move from left back here for Saudi Arabia. Still going on. There's shades of Al-Awairan from USA 94 there for a moment with that cheeky run forward. But he was hacked down and he wins his team a free kick.
Again, somebody just takes the game by the scruff of the neck. A run like that, get the crowd going, try and create something, but a set piece to work from.
He ran from 75 yards, side Iran against Belgium. DC in '94 for that goal against Belgium. One of the greatest World Cup goals of all time. Can they test Muslera for the first time in the game? Some way out. Chihuez plays the ball. Amri and Kano waiting towards the back post. Dinked in by Aljuer and punched away well by Muslera.
It's a really good ball. Forces the goalkeeper Muslera to come out and challenge, but still enough distance for him to be a little bit worried.
It's his first competitive cap for 5 years from Fernando Muslera. He was a backup goalkeeper in Qatar 4 years ago. Out your way, in towards that near post. There's going to be a chance here. And Muslera makes a fantastic save to keep out Al-Amri. Top save there by the veteran.
He found himself on his own, Al-Amri. Took a touch. Just making sure with the side foot and stepped to the wrong side, Muslera, but did brilliantly with that. Just adjust his feet.
His corner play back to Al-Dorsari. The ball was turned square there, nearly fell the way of breaking, and Uruguay here are rocking defensively. Saudi Arabia starting to come alive.
Yeah, they're starting to believe Saudi Arabia. They've watched what Uruguay have had to offer and they think, hang on a minute, we can have a go here. This is a chance.
Well, we mentioned the big absentees in defence for Uruguay, so this Uruguayan team can be got at. It's a long throw. It was by Bentancur. Volley's slight spot off target.
Uruguay off the hook there. Just a bit of pressure. Set pieces, ball into the box.
Uruguayan fans who are here are somewhat underwhelmed by their team showing up to now. Saudi Arabia a growing force now as we move towards half-time. Here's Al-Dorsari. Excellent feet by him. Touched away by Cáceres. In goes Al-Braikin. Cano. Abdelhamid. Al-Shamat.
Confidence is building now. You can tell they came into the game thinking, well, let's keep it tight, 4-4-2 out of possession, and now they just think, well, may as well have a go. So they're taking more risk with the ball, they're pushing further forward.
Roberto Baggio, one of the big figures of the World Cup in 1994 in the USA. One of those who won't have fond memories of that tournament, playing for Italy. Alongside Diego Forman, one of the Uruguayan greats of yesteryear. Scored 5 goals at the World Cup in 2010. Archeway with the corner. Oh, there's a chance! There's a goal for Saudi Arabia from Al-Amri. Well, they caused shockwaves in their opening game 4 years ago. And then frontier against Uruguay. From the set piece, Uruguay exposed, and joy for Saudi Arabia.
Well, they dared to have a goal, didn't they? Saudi Arabia. Uruguay have just let them push up the pitch and set piece. It's a great header. Good stop by the goalkeeper. He just couldn't stop it going out to Al-Amri. He reacted first. Just toe poked it past. And from the last few minutes, it's nothing more than Saudi Arabia deserve. They've taken a few risks, they've pushed players forward, and they've got their just rewards.
Abdul Aida Al-Amri with the goal for Saudi Arabia. Why Uruguay looked to be a team who were there for the taking. Saudi Arabia grown in belief, and they now have their reward.
Shock around the stadium. Shock for Saudi Arabian fans that they've scored. Shock for Uruguay fans that they can't believe what they're watching.
Al-Amri, who plays for the Saudi champions Al Nassr, with his second goal for his national team. Here they come again. Al-Dorsari, now Al-Shamat. Looking for his skipper once again, but that one bounced onto Muslera.
Yeah, when we gave Bielsa ball the big build-up, didn't we, coming into this game, and it just hasn't materialised yet. He's trying to work it out.
poor first half is from Bielsa's team. The World Cup for a third time. The great man suffered the pain of a group stage exit with his own nation, Argentina, back in 2002. He did take Chile beyond the group stage in 2010 in South Africa. There's Vina. Challenged by Abdulhamid. And the throw goes the way of Saudi Arabia. Kane. Cross game now with Ugarte. And a flick on there towards Araujo. And there's a high foot by Al-Amri. There's a yellow card for the Saudi Arabian goal scorer, the first player booked by the Italian referee.
He's trying to argue about where his foot was. I think it was his knee in the end. It's a nice little flick on Viñas. It was his actual knee rather than his foot that caught the back of Araujo. It's certainly a sore one. You can't argue against that.
And two players down there, Uruguay, they could do without any injury issues given their absentees. Vina's free kick into a good area, and Alois is there to claim that. Header was won by Federico Viñas.
Viñas looks the one, doesn't it? He's the one that's getting on the end of a sort of ball into the box that Uruguay have managed.
Ugarte getting past Kane. Araujo, he's done well here. He couldn't find a teammate with a cutback, well defended by Al-Amri.
It's good for Araujo, but just not seen enough of it from Uruguay. It's better that they're building something just before half-time.
Araujo's corner. Near post flick there. Out to Fede Valverde. Last time ball by him, defended by Alton Bakti. Stoppage time we go. It's Araujo! He brought it down so well, but he was offside.
It did look in real time that he'd just gone beyond, but he's just been positive. He makes the run. Was probably that quick behind. He probably was onside, so it's a good save. Once again, there's a goal. Great reactions from the centre back.
Right moment there for Fernando Muslera. Valverde toward Nunez, slight touch on that ball through, and it was a kind touch for Alois in goal for Saudi Arabia.
Just not seen enough of Valverde on that right hand side. He's not had enough of the ball to affect the game. When he does, you can see that can be the positive that Uruguay need. Very much right into it now, Saudi Arabia, after the goal, after seeing Uruguay have put in front of them so far. Just have to be still a little bit wary, not get too carried away with throwing bodies forward. They're in a good position.
Benson can't find Valverde or Nunez. There's Viñas. Oliveira. Cáceres. Ugarte. Oliveira. Good movement by Viña. Two defenders got back there to close down the space, and again the offside flag went up.
I've got the line fairly sorted. Saudi Arabia, and they've been caught out a couple of times, Uruguay, but also trying those runs in behind.
Should be that for the first half in Miami. Had our first goal in Group H at this World Cup, and a goal for Saudi Arabia. Their defender Abdul Ayla Al-Amri got it with half-time fast approaching, and they're on course maybe for another big win in their opening game of a World Cup, having beaten Argentina 4 years ago in their first match in Qatar. They lead here at half-time. Saudi Arabia 1, Uruguay 0.
Google Pixel sponsors ITV's coverage of the FIFA World Cup.
At the third stroke, the time from BT will be 5:13 and 10 seconds.
Emergency with service.
At the third stroke, the
No sort of urgency, particularly in that final third, and one or two times when they have moved it a little bit quicker, then they've ended up getting a couple of opportunities in the box. So yeah, he'd be very frustrated as a centre forward, not getting the service that he needs.
Are they sluggish, dare I say it? Are they not as match fit? They've not been playing games recently. It's not been their style of training.
I'm so disappointed, Laura. We gave it the big and the Marcelo Bielsa high intensity. They've been rubbish, honestly. Been really poor.
Absolutely lack of games. Cannot go into a tournament without playing football. You've got to get in a rhythm. You've got to get in a rhythm. They've not done that. They're looking very sluggish. One pace, obviously the heat as well was affecting it. But it's a World Cup for underdogs at the moment, isn't it?
It is. It absolutely is. Could we see another shock? We'll find out very soon. The second half's coming up. But guys were just mentioning there the heat. Look, hydration breaks have been a little bit of a sore topic so far, but today this one has been very much needed. 29 degrees in Miami. The humidity will make it feel more like 33 degrees. So look, these guys are obviously very hot. Hoping for more animated football in the second half from them, though.
Google Pixel sponsors ITV's coverage of the FIFA World Cup.
People of Britain, for far too long, we've been imagining the homes we want. We've watched the tutorials, asked the group chats. Our homes deserve so much more than dreaming. Today, we do!
You can do it when you be and queue it.
Hey, Sainsbury's?
Yes, Henry? Wondering about that buttery little beaut on your fork? Well, it's a Taste the Difference Jersey Royal, meaning it has a uniquely creamy texture and a distinctly sweet, nutty flavour. Sorry, Henry, you were saying?
Just splendid, Spuds.
Beautifully put, Henry. You can always taste the difference. Sainsbury's, good food for all of us.
Vitality is your health's best friend, and I'm going to tell you why.
Ready to move up a size? A better Experian score can help you get better rates on loans, credit cards, and mortgages. In fact, it's the UK's most trusted credit score. Get your free Experian score and report today. Experian. Better your score, better your story.
The brigands brought destruction to every corner of the universe.
themselves, haven't they? They've got to get their best player on the ball, and for me, Valverde has got to get into midfield, he's got to get on the ball, and they've got to put a winger on to try and have a go at the full-backs, because he's got two strikers in there. Get some crosses in the box and feed their two strikers.
I don't think they could have got any worse in that first half, Laura, but look, Saudi Arabia, they're in control of this game at the moment. They're going to expect Uruguay to come onto them, but I would say Saudi Arabia have been a threat from set pieces. We saw that from the goal, we saw that an early opportunity. Look, they could be positive here and thinking we've got a great opportunity here. That you mentioned the group. Look, there's meant to be some changes there from Uruguay. I'm not surprised, as we mentioned, how poor they were in the first half, so we'll see the reaction of these two.
Guys, the weather is closing in slightly as well. There's a potential of some disruption in this game. If we get a hint of lightning, we might have a couple of delays, but let's get you back up to your commentary team. We hope not. In Miami, it's about to get underway. Lucy Ward, Joe Spade.
Yes, we hope not, Laura. But there is some concern regarding the weather in the Miami area. We've heard that there's a storm within 16 miles, and that's the range within which the organisers issue a warning. If a lightning strike happens then within 8 miles of the stadium, there would be a suspension of half an hour. So we'll keep an eye on that weather. We'll keep an eye here on these changes being made at half-time by Uruguay, who were so poor in that first half. Huge scope for improvement for Bielsa's team. Saudi Arabia re-emerging with the one-goal advantage. Their goal came from Abdelayla Al-Amri, scoring his first goal since his debut, which came 5 years ago. After that, tremendous point won by Cape Verde in the first match in this group. Can Saudi Arabia claim all three here against the two-time former world champions? So Vinia is off at half-time, so too is Darwin Núñez, which I think will raise a few eyebrows. Big call that from Bielsa to take off the number 9 for Uruguay. Coming on there, Juan Manuel Sanabria, who is a left back, so he'll replace Vinia in that position. And also coming on, Agustin Canobio, who is a winger by nature, plays for Fluminense in Brazil. He was recalled in March for his first caps for 2 years. So we'll wait to see now how they readjust here. You might imagine that Federico Viñas will become the focal point now of the attack in this second half, Lucy.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Bielsa could have probably taken any one of them off Uruguay because he just weren't up to speed at all. And Saudi Arabia could just smell that in the end and got the goal and just kept going. But Saudi Arabia, they just look organised, they look well coached. You know, they understand each other's roles, they understand their own roles. So, you know, you look at them and they're well deserved in the lead in this game.
I think you have to feel for Darwin Núñez, the fall guy in the attack there, being taken off. No service whatsoever, but a rejig Uruguay will restart the game. They haven't come from behind to win a World Cup match since 1966.
It does look like Bielsa's listened to Duncan Ferguson, and why wouldn't you? Look, he's a little bit more central, Valverde. Just see him there. Certainly where you want him.
Canobio, one of the half-time subs, has gone to that wide right position.
I'm surprised they didn't do it during the first half, but obviously a little bit more information onto the players and make the changes as well.
It's Cáceres. Bentancur. Vereba. It's a diving header and well saved by other ways. He got down superbly there. Here's Valverde. Just after half-time, Uruguay very close to getting back on level terms.
He's done well, Viñas. I think quite a lot of the ball that's gone into the box, he's got on the end of it, even if they were disappointed as a whole.
Valverde found a way through. He was stumbling, but couldn't quite keep his footing and get a shot away. He felt he may have been fouled there. Looks towards the referee, Maurizio Mariani. But on we go.
I think we've seen an improvement to the tempo. I mean, they couldn't get too much worse from that first half performance.
Canobio. Viñas. Araujo went down on by Vereba towards Canobio. Offside's been given.
Yanis was saying to his Saudi Arabia players at half-time that you'd expect a reaction from Uruguay. Certainly, Torres again. That's the better of Viñas.
3 good saves now in the game from Otherways, who we thought would be the backup goalkeeper here, but the injury to Nawaf Al-Akaidi, we've seen him miss out. He was the man who was supposed to be the number 1. Now Dorsary towards Al-Jouer. Cross came Sebastian Cáceres. It's the first time that Saudi Arabia have scored the opening goal in a World Cup match since that famous win over Belgium in '94, that Halloween day. I wonder how they will play it. As the first half went on, they grew in belief, knowing that Uruguay were playing so badly. They pushed for goal number 2. A long throw here from the left back, Al-Harbi. Abraki. Dorseri. Zugarte. Bentancur. Left back Araujo. Sanabria, the half-time sub. Bentancur. Canobio. Bentancur. Vereda.
Trying to get behind them. Certainly started the second half better. Uruguay really in a better position, moving the ball quicker.
Valverde, Canobio. It's going to be a corner, but Canobio has made a big impression, providing some width on that right-hand side now.
Yeah, I think the combination of a half-time team talk, substitutions, moving Valverde, raising the tempo. I mean, it's like they were playing within themselves in the first half, Uruguay.
Bentancur there lurking in front of Otherways. It's in back Araujo. And the header goes wide from Viñas. He wants a corner, but goal kick's being given.
It's a threat, isn't it? It's probably 3 or 4 that he's got his head onto the ball into the box.
Uruguay had a poor World Cup in Qatar. They went out at the group stage, and that was seen to be a national embarrassment for them. They went out with 4 points. I don't think they'll be going out with 4 points in the expanded format this time around. Actually went out on goals scored behind South Korea. Chasing this first game in Miami in their opening match of this World Cup.
They're not the best. They do commit players forward, and they're committing more players forward now, but they can drop deep as well, Uruguay. They can do both. It's just they just didn't ever get in the groove in that first half, so good to see them better at the start of the second.
Bentancur, a complete air shot there by him. A run back by Mahmoud Ugarte. Sanabria. And Viñas there, target in the air. And again a flag went up.
Araujo that thought that it might land at his head, but Viñas took it off him. Really got a shout.
Almost 3 years in charge now for Marcelo Bielsa. He has been hinting that he may walk away post the World Cup. He's a man who's still revered by fans of Leeds United. Almost 4 years there in West Yorkshire. His longest stint anywhere in the past 20 years. Why wouldn't you love West Yorkshire?
course. I mean, he's absolutely brilliant, absolute legend at Leeds. But at the end, it deteriorated quite quickly, and that's the thing about his football, it does have a shelf life, and maybe he's reached the end with Uruguay, but they need to go out fighting in this World Cup for sure. They've got the players, they've got the quality.
Araujo. Bentancur to Valverde. Vergreva. It's going to be a corner off Al-Harbi.
There's more players getting beyond now, more players into the box. Better play in that final third, a bit more quality.
Over the corner, it's turned away by Altan Bakhti. Look at Bielsa's last 7 matches at the World Cup with Chile and Argentina combined. His team has never scored more than 1 goal across those 7 games. They need 2 here to try and turn this game around to win their first match, Uruguay.
Saudi Arabia need to start connecting passes better in this second half. Oh, and it's all Uruguay.
It's Viñas, who's had 4 of their attempts on goal so far in the game, 4 of their 7. Zagate. By Araujo. Sanabria. And in came Canobio. And it was just touched away by Al-Harbi. Really important glancing touch there by the fullback. Bentancur. Al-Harbi's there again. Saudi Arabia just being penned in.
His team are just under pressure a little bit, and when they do win it back, like I said, connect passes, try and get up the pitch as they lose it, and then again they're under pressure.
Just a weather update for you. I'm hearing that the news of a potential storm has now moved away. It's now a low-risk situation, so that's good news for a game that we hope will be completed on time. We panic about storms, but the locals in Miami, for them it's a daily occurrence. High foot there, but the referee and the assistant referee deem not to be a foul situation. But here the Uruguayan player, Canobio, going down, and there's the evidence that he was caught.
Yeah, I did catch him at, just to see again. I think what he did was fall over and put his foot in the air to try and get rid of the ball, and he caught Canobio instead. He slipped, caught up the side of his quad. I mean, it certainly should have been a foul.
Canobio there clearly felt he was caught, and as we can see there's the evidence of that too. The officials were very close by as well.
It was Al-Harbi that slipped, and he's trying to get the ball away from.
We have Christina Unkel on hand in our ref room to interpret moments like that. What's your view of that one, Christina?
Yes, that was a missed foul that should have been called. Now, it is not a clear and obvious red card. Yes, there's studs. Yes, there's contact. But we're still missing some speed and some force for that to be a clear red card, let alone a red card recommended from VAR. But that is a missed incident by the officials on the field.
Thank you, Christina. It's the one yellow card shown so far in the game, and it came to the goal scorer of Saudi Arabia in the first half, Al-Amri. Here's Varela. Ugarte.
At times they've got 6 players in the front line. Uruguay. Try and drop just to add a little bit of depth. Movement is so important, otherwise it's a bit more predictable for Saudi Arabia to defend against.
The strength by Cáceres. And the ball out of play, so it will be a throw-in.
And the difference in his team in the second half compared to the first is night and day.
There's the great Ronaldo, R9 watching on. World Cup winner in 2002. Just 2 goals in the final against Germany in Yokohama in Japan. Varela. Space there for Canabio. A difficult one that for him to direct on target.
I think that Uruguay, that initial period after half-time, the first 10 minutes, could they score when they were on top, equalise? If not, Saudi Arabia just grab a hold of the game again.
Great Bulgarian there, Hristo Stoichkov. All the big names are in Miami tonight. The Bulgarian team for the World Cup in 1994. That was the World Cup when Saudi Arabia had their best run, when they reached the knockout stage for the only time in their World Cup history. They're a very different footballing nation nowadays, with the billions that have been pumped in since the Qatar finals of 4 years ago. They're going to be the host nation themselves in 8 years' time.
Oliveira. Varela. Canabio went down there and his boots come off and he's claiming he was caught. That's Ugarte! Off the post! And it came back snappily. That man with Ugarte, so nearly got his team back level.
Like an arrow. So well hit. Ugarte got himself high, and they've actually, the whole of the team have pushed the game on about 10 metres, Uruguay, and it just means that they're much more of a threat. It's always worth an effort having a shot, because you can see how Saudi Arabia are defending the edge of the box, and if you do start having shots, they have to defend different. They have to go out and engage, and that's when the little bits of space, touch to it, didn't it? He's done so well. Alaways.
There's an issue for Alaways. Adding your picture, he's down, and I wonder whether some attention might be required. Is it just cramped for the goalkeeper?
He did well there, though. Uruguay just starting to really put the pressure on Saudi Arabia. They just need a goal to show for it.
Still, Canabio makes the point about this situation here, where he felt his foot was clipped.
I mean, it was, but I'm not sure it was a foul. I mean, Stu might disagree with me, but I think that's not enough from that, is it?
The other point to note about the goalkeeper going down is that FIFA are trying to stamp out the tactical timeouts, where a goalkeeper will go down to just delay the game. Now players aren't allowed to go to the technical area to receive instructions from their coaches. They must stay on the pitch.
Magic spray going on. He'll be fine, I'm sure.
As I say, this is not technically allowed now. Just honest there, giving the instruction to the Saudi Arabian player. Christina, you're watching on from our ref room. As I mentioned, this is one of the areas of the interpretation of the law that FIFA changed for the World Cup.
Yes, this is one of those areas of emphasis where during these types of injuries with goalkeepers, the technical staff should not be instructing and the players should not go over. However, unfortunately, the referees are not given an additional power or enforcement to prevent the technical instruction from happening. It's just guidance for the fourth official to try to instruct the technical staff not to do that. A very hard thing to enforce, though.
We're going to see Nasser Al-Dawsari coming off the bench, who is no relation to his namesake, the captain, Southern Al-Dawsari. Other ways, fight to continue. Now playing his club football, the goalkeeper in the second tier of Saudi football. So it's going to be the playmaker Musab Al-Juwair going off. Nasser Al-Dawsari, a more defensive-minded midfield player. Ugarte, who came so close from range to making it one apiece. He has scored once before for Uruguay, and a big goal too in their qualifying campaign. A dramatic stoppage time winner against Colombia, a 3-2 win coming off the bench. There's Cáceres. Ugarte again. Makes the way of Firas Abraikin, no one ahead of him. Saudi Arabia spent almost the entire second half in their own half of the pitch. So a real test of their defensive concentration now.
Yeah, they've sort of sorted themselves out since that initial burst, the first 10 minutes of the second half. Performing better.
Oliveira will play for a Uruguay throw. On the box for now. Not seeing too much pacing from Bielsa this evening. A bit warm for that. Tambacsi with a header. Really far the way of Ugarte.
It's a really good ball in. It's making the defender having to half clear it. Wondering what's behind him.
Sanabria wins it back, no foul was given. Araujo. That one will be a free kick for Uruguay. It's a very frustrated man there, Mohamed Abu Al-Shamat.
Al-Shamat can't believe it. I've been impressed with Kano though, just thought he should have had a foul just before that. Physical presence in midfield has really helped Saudi Arabia defending, but they've got to defend this set piece now. It's a critical part of the second half.
Really, for this foul. This is, hey, look at me. This is the last chance for the dressing. I don't like this. It's okay. I respect you, you respect me. It's okay.
Yeah, the referee there laying the law down to Moroccan player Abdul Shamat, stamping out any dissent. So Valverde over the free kick for Uruguay. Otherways gets the ball away. Guerrero. Well blocked by Nasser Al-Dawsari.
Put it again from Otherwise, Saudi Arabia goal. Again, put under pressure, and again defends his goal.
34 years of age, Otherways, and his third World Cup for Saudi Arabia. Good start there, 1-0 loss against Uruguay back in 2018. It's a 1-0 lead for the Saudis in Miami as we approach the midway point of the second half.
It's a great effort. One goal already, I think it was. I thought Abdulhamid, the right back, was going to get his head on it. He didn't.
Here's Kana. They nearly found Al Dorsari.
Just look after it better in that area of the pitch, Saudi Arabia, and they're in.
Bentancur's being held. And that's time now for our second half hydration break, I think. Or maybe not just yet. There will be one more attack perhaps for Uruguay before we have that interruption. Bentancur. Oliveira. Valverde on the right side again now. Excellent ball in by him. Oh, what service that was. It was so inviting. 3 players there were lurking.
And just look at the quality of that from Valverde. He may as well have not have been playing in the first half. Not his own fault. He obviously was told to play where he was, but just his involvement now, and he's affecting the game. He's putting the ball in the right areas.
So now we have the hydration break, and Saudi Arabia had preserved their lead. Al Amri got the goal for them towards the end of that first half. They have a goalkeeper who's having a fantastic game too, in the shape of Mohamed Otherways, keeping Uruguay at bay on several occasions. The double half-time change by Bielsa has had an impact. A few positional tweaks too.
They're just playing with more tempo. I mean, if you see the difference between the second half and the first half of the way that Uruguay played, it's like night and day. Just
And we had that one live for you too from 10 p.m. on ITV1 and STV. So Manuel Ugarte going off now for Uruguay, being replaced by Nicolas de la Cruz, central midfield player from Flamengo in Brazil. He did score 3 times in qualifying. One of those came in that very impressive home win against Brazil. Known as a set-piece expert, has a powerful shot. Canobio down, not for the first time. Holding his face this time. We're going to have another surprise results in Group H. After Cape Verde, remarkably amidst really emotional scenes, held Spain to a goalless draw in Atlanta. Saudi Arabia still lead the former world champions in Miami. Here's Valverde. Blocked by Al-Harbi. Goes behind for a corner.
Yeah, cheated into a back five, Saudi Arabia. Just going deeper and deeper, which is inviting that pressure from Uruguay.
Ball in towards that near post, and goodness me, it came off Firas Abradaikin.
Put it in the back of the net then. There's only a lot of people behind that goal.
Side netting, and he can breathe again. Sent in again by Valverde. Excellent ball. It's come out for De La Cruz.
Cano again. Getting his head on that. Needed just a little bit of a touch. He got it.
That's too deep from De La Cruz. Baraikin helping out defensively. Well, that was the intention. He almost put that one behind his own goalkeeper.
Really great goal.
He scored 5 times in qualifying. Plays for Al Ahly in Saudi Arabia. He plays on the wing there after they signed Ivan Toney. He found game time hard to come by as the focal point of the attack. He's gone down now. Took a knock there to the back of that left ankle area.
Just see as he landed then, his left foot just inwards. Hopefully he'll be okay. It's key in terms of having any outlet for Saudi Arabia. Nobody can.
Well, no physio called for, but if the player receives medical attention, they have to leave the pitch, so try if they can to stay on, avoiding the physio being called for. Sambaxi with a free kick. They've been so defensive second half, Saudi Arabia. They've had no touches in the Uruguay box since the half-time break.
Yeah, I mean, Uruguay have been a lot better in the second half. And that combined with Saudi Arabia just sitting a little bit deeper, changing to a back five after the sub.
Nassim Dorsari. Southern Dorsari. Bentancur. To the Cruz. Some contact from behind there by Abu Al-Shamat.
The Uruguay subs have added the energy as well as the whole collective effort increasing from the Uruguay team.
Vereda finding Canobio. Canobio by Al-Shamat.
Really, it's been all Uruguay in this second half. The case in the first, Saudi Arabia managed to get the goal, but I think this is what we'll see for the remainder of the game.
Loose there by Al-Harbi. Cano. Dorsari will give chase. Caceres mopping up.
Yeah, that's the outlet, isn't it? Dorsari down that left-hand side, just a little bit too far in front of him, but they still need that outlet, otherwise Uruguay will just keep coming onto them.
Valverde. Headed by Abdul Hamid. Sliced away by Al-Shabaab. Have to go back to USA 94 for Saudi Arabia's last World Cup clean sheet in that 1-0 win against Belgium. They were a team of heroes when they had that amazing success against Argentina in Qatar in their first game in the sale, although they did fail then to go beyond the group stage. They lost the next 2 games against Mexico and against Poland.
That was the pinnacle, wasn't it? I was in the stadium at the time in Qatar, and the scenes were absolutely incredible. What a result that was for Saudi Arabia. Gave them the belief in the way that they're playing. Really moved on or kicked on from there. Saudi Pro League has allowed players to train with better players, but the flip side of that is that they don't really get the minutes that they should be because of the foreign players that are raising the standards. So it is a both sides of the coin, balance.
And there aren't many Saudi players who go overseas to get game time elsewhere. It's just the one in this squad playing. Hamid at Lens. Canobio, Bentancur, Vereda. Still waiting for a ball in. Vidias. Sanabria. Canobio was there. Nice touch by Barakin. Lost by Al-Dorsari. There's Bentancur. Some Bakti covering, but giving the ball straight to Canobio. Canobio's gone down yet again. To the Cruz. To the Cruz with power. Cleared away by Nasser Al-Dorsari.
It's not often that Uruguay have caught this back 5 out of shape since they've converted there, but that ball forward from Bentancur just before first time, that's the sort of ball you need, the runners in behind, just when they're not set.
Oliveira, it's Vidias! And the rebound put in by Araujo! Uruguay are back level in Miami. Maxi Araujo. Even the baby enjoys the moment. Araujo mobbed by his teammates. And the former world champions have leveled the game up. It's one apiece.
Well, Alouais has been brilliant in the goal for Saudi Arabia, but the pressure has been building and building throughout this second half. Uruguay putting balls into the box, getting players forward, and he's been lively all the way through. Araujo hasn't it? Great save, but he just could do nothing about that, and it's a really clever finish. Guided it past the goalkeeper, Araujo, just to make sure, rather than blasting it. Back on level terms, Uruguay.
And still time to push on to try and win the game.
So many headed chances, hasn't it? Vidias, most of them have been on target, hasn't got his goal, but certainly contributed to that equaliser.
The resistance of Mohamed Alouais finally breached.
Can they win it now, Uruguay? They've got the momentum with them.
That was his last touch of the game. He's now been taken off by Bielsa, replaced by Ryan Rodriguez, winger who plays in Mexico, who's come on now for his World Cup debut. He does sometimes make changes, but raise an eyebrow or two. Araujo has his team at level. And now Uruguay push again with Canobio. Vereda. Canobio. Going to change too for Saudi Arabia with Nawaf Bouchal coming on. Place of Abu Al-Shamat, so a change there, right back for them. Shot by Oliveira, deflects away for a corner.
Keeping that pressure going, just sensing that Saudi Arabia just weakening at the back under the pressure of this second half performance from Uruguay.
Rodriguez there, who's come on to have the best season of his career in terms of goal scoring. 13 goals over the last 12 months playing in Mexico. To the Cruz with the corner. It was Cáceres who met it.
From the back, I think the Mas still gets contact on that.
Gunobia to the Cruz. Rodriguez. Oh, goodness me. Clean hit there by the sub, just off the bench.
That would have been some effort. We've seen some great goals in the World Cup. Stayed outside the post, didn't really get the curl in, just the power.
Now Bouchal. Come off the bench to play it right back for Saudi Arabia. Now Sambaxi. That's Al-Dawsari. Al-Amri. Oliveira. It's a big feature of Uruguay's qualifying campaign, scoring late goals. Nunez scored a couple, Ugarte scored one that winner against Colombia. The question maybe what's left now in their tank in terms of their energy and their fitness.
Just trying to get them going again. Hoping that substitutes make a difference. More subs from Uruguay, it just added to the energy on the pitch.
Al-Dawsari with a high foot. Foul on Rodrigo Bentancur. Rodriguez. Sanabria. That comes other ways. Not that one. Good distance away from goal. That's Valverde. Varela. Finding Gunobia. Not closed down into a great area. It's kept alive by Rodriguez.
They're hanging on, Saudi Arabia. They just don't have an outlet. We just cannot get the ball to the pitch and sustain any sort of possession in Uruguay's half.
They find themselves in a group with two former World Cup winners, Spain and Uruguay. The point here would be a very fine start for them. They've got Spain next up in Atlanta on Sunday. Could they yet win this game? Al-Harbi. Which adventure will they show now? Al-Harbi goes again. Set back to Al-Dawsari. Becomes scrappy, and here's Kano. Kano Tuke. Saud Abdulhamid. He'll have a go! And not missed by too much at all.
All of a sudden they get themselves at the pitch in numbers, Saudi Arabia, just causing Uruguay all sorts of problems. There was a point at that left-hand side where I think if Saudi Arabian player had gone down, then perhaps it gives the referee a decision to make, but got in behind, but it just couldn't fashion a good enough chance.
Rodriguez. Sanabria, corner. No offside, I think it's been given there against Sanabria. I think it will be World Cup, Lucy, given the conditions in terms of the weather, the climate, where subs have a big impact on these games. I think we've seen that here from Uruguay. The changes they've made, the players have come on, have made an impact.
Yeah, and the strength and depth is obviously better than Saudi Arabia's, and the impact of the sub can be elsewhere's. Material impact on the game. They've got that goal back. It's just, can they just get over the line? And Saudi Arabia just hang on.
Uruguay will remain in Miami for their next match against Cape Verde here on Sunday. They end up against Spain in Guadalajara in Mexico. As it stands, the group could not be tighter after the first two games. Heading for two draws. Not done here yet, and there may well be a fair chunk of stoppage time to come. Rodriguez. Nearly came the way of Viñas. It was stretched there from Al-Amri to get the ball away. And back to the player who's gone down there holding his ankle.
He's done well, Al-Amri there, just to get his foot across, because that was just going to whip across the front and cause all sorts of problems for Alaves.
Rodrigo Aguirre will be next off the bench for Uruguay. There's the corner, defended by Cano. To the Cruz, down for Valverde. Sanabria. Up goes Oliveira. Other ways with a good punch out.
Punch.
Final change being made then by Uruguay. Another forward player coming on. It's Viñas who goes off. Aguirre's World Cup debut. Scored 3 important goals in qualifying. Wins against Peru, Venezuela and Colombia. Stoppage time number is 7. Salam Al-Dawsari. The game is now stretched. He is to the Cruz. Ryan Rodriguez. Sanabria. It's to the Cruz! And Alaves is there once again. Oliveira. Aguirre. Lead out by Nasser Al-Dawsari.
Alaves again. Carl's leading a charmed life, but he has had a lot to do with making sure it stays 1-1.
Forever. That was watchful defending there by Abdul Hamid. He had a player just behind him.
He couldn't afford to do it, try anything different, but now they've got to defend this corner.
You see the fatigue now growing amongst the Saudi defence, and a triple change is coming. Triple change before a corner. Is that a risky move?
Yeah, I think it could be, but they obviously follow instruction. There they go. They've got to get right into it.
The need will go well beyond that. 7 minutes of stoppage time that was indicated. Abdullah Al Hamdan, one of those coming on, forward player for Al Nassr. We'll see Ali Lajan, a centre-back for Al Hilal. And Abba Al Haji, defensive midfield player, also now to help out there and try and defend this corner, try and preserve a point for Saudi Arabia. Played back there by Rodriguez. Valverde! And Otherways is there again.
What a save.
He's having a fantastic game. He may have caused himself some pain there, but all worth it. That's a fantastic stop.
Yeah, he's just trying to get it into the corner, Valverde. He's been absolutely brilliant, hasn't he? Otherwise.
He pulled his groin there. He's to the Cruz. And header at the near post from Caceres. Otherways is still hindered.
Wasn't exactly right in the corner, but it was enough for Otherways to stretch.
Well, he was man of the match 4 years ago in the win against Argentina. He may well be man of the match in this game as well. Bentancur. Rodriguez. Sanabria. Super tackle.
Have we got enough time? Uruguay.
Those on that Saudi bench, desperate to see their team come away with a point. Varela works for goal. Here's to the Cruz. They're playing the advantage for Uruguay. Bentancur. Caceres. It'll be an interesting team picked by Bielsa for the next match, because lots of subs here have staked their claim for more involvement going forward.
I mean, we didn't really get a game in the first half from a Uruguay point of view, but certainly have since the changes. Got decisions to make.
And again there, Otherways, that's now 9 saves in the game from him.
Yeah, he's been brilliant. This line of defence has stood up to the task so far.
Valverde. To the Cruz. 4 players queuing up. Just like Cape Verde a few hours ago, it's all hands on deck defensively to try and hang on for a point. Rodriguez to Sanabria. It's a very inviting ball there towards Oliveira. It's Cano who clears away for Saudi Arabia. Nine saves now is the most by any goalkeeper at a match at this World Cup so far. The job not done yet. Rodriguez. Valverde. Out of play for a throw-in. In added time now on stoppage time. Cannavio. In by Cáceres. Up goes Altambacti. To the Cruz. Valverde. Rodriguez square. Goes behind for a corner.
Done a good job of just protecting that central area, but Uruguay just keep pushing. Clever pass again from Valverde in that inside channel.
So still we play. Maybe Uruguay's last chance now for a winner. It's come off Cano. And there is the full-time whistle. So Group H begins with 2 draws. And Saudi Arabia hung on there to win their point, to repel Uruguay, who gave everything with a much improved second half performance. Saudi Arabia led at half-time through Al-Amri's goal. Otherwise, was absolutely outstanding in their goal. He made 9 saves in the game, the most by any goalkeeper at this World Cup so far. But Maxi Araujo beat him to win the point for Uruguay. And so it ends in Miami. Saudi Arabia 1, Uruguay 1.